esteemed guests, faculty members, students, and everyone gathered here today. This momentous occasion wouldn't be possible without the tireless efforts and vision of our esteemed President. This is his 50th year of association with SIS, an alumnus of both the SIS High School and SIS College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Empowered Autonomous. All through the prime of his youth and later years, he has both as an honorable secretary and later president been the guiding light to the society. With immense pleasure, I now request Shri Dr. V. Shankar to deliver the welcome address.
एंगल बढ़ा के दी थोड़ा बढ़ा दी वेरी गुड माला सुदाम कुंभ विबोध मुद्रा विद्या विराजत करवारी जाताम अपार कारुण्य सुदाम्बुराशिम श्री शारदांबा प्रणतोस्मि नित्यम. Seeking the benediction of Jagannmata Sharda Parmeshwari, Vagdevi Saraswati, that repository of all that is culture, knowledge, tradition, wisdom, art, learning and fine art, I bow to her as I commence my address today. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this pleasant and solemn function organized this morning to herald a new journey, the commencement of institutions of higher learning in healthcare sciences with the inauguration of the SIES School of Pharmaceutical Sciences. For over 9 decades, 92 years to be precise, the SIES academic offerings at the graduate, the postgraduate and the doctoral levels have all been dominated by basic sciences, chemistry and arts, commerce, business, communication and technology. A conscious decision was taken to shift gear and keep in time with the tune of changing times, student friendly, meet the aspirations and the expectations of the student community, and more importantly, remain relevant and competitive at all points of time in the changing landscape of education in this country. Global healthcare is seeing sea changes. Changes of unbelievable dimensions are taking place in healthcare industry. Indian healthcare industry is therefore no exception, and it comes in the same level as that of the global changes that are being witnessed. India spent for the first time in its history post-independence 2.5% of the GDP on healthcare, the highest ever, except during the 2 pandemic years when it soared to 6% of the GDP in view of the exceptional healthcare crisis that coronavirus had brought onto the world and to India as well. This, together with the investment of the private sector in healthcare, aggregates to about 6.8% of the GDP. When we contrast this to the health spend of the developed world, 17.7% for United States and about 12% for almost all nations of Europe, it is evident there is an imminent necessity for explosive geometrical growth in health infrastructure in the country. Ever since independence, governments of the day have thrived on the popular slogan of Roti, Kapda and Makan. It was only in recent times, about 7-8 years before, Swachh Bharat came, Swasth Bharat came, Fit India and Healthy India was integrated into the 3 essentials of the government's, if not programs, at least the sloganeering. Even though India is shining, is amongst the fastest growing macroeconomies in the world at the larger level, yet even today there are countless number of Indians, men who belong to our own tribe, in far-flung areas of the country, the rural folk, who have to trek several miles to come to the first point, government hospital, to have medical aid. And in most of the cases, the critical ailments do not allow them to survive the journey, and they succumb to the infection that had come on to them. In such an environment where the basic necessity of life seems to be far-flung, it is basically because the investment of the private sector has been urban-centric, because it is based on returns to the private sector. So there has been a lopsided growth in the entire landscape of investment of healthcare in the country, with the result, far-flung areas of the country, the outer boundaries of this country, have either been denied these facilities or minimal frugal facilities called the apology of hospitals exist in those parts of the country. It is against this background that the Government of India is committed to substantial investments in healthcare. And when there is substantial investment in healthcare, all allied industries and all those which support the health infrastructure in the country also need to keep pace. And this is where pharmacy education has a pivotal role to play in the overall healthcare infrastructure and the services that are provided in healthcare by this country. The growth and development of the South Indian Education Society has always been guided by definitive strategic plans, plans which are near-term or even long-term. The current policy which is guiding the society is Mission 2025, formulated in the year 2018 for the plan period 2018 to 2025, which is the expansion mode of the society, and the later period, which is the long-term strategic period of 2025 to 2032, the year by which the society will be celebrating the centenary of its existence. That will be essentially a consolidation phase. The Panchashil, or the 5 pillars on which the entire Mission 2025 stands, SIES shall have at least 25 institutions affiliated to the society, belonging to the society. It shall have a student strength of about 50,000 students, including online, hybrid models, and physical education programs that we are deeply in today. All the institutions of higher learning shall come under the SIES University, that deemed to be university under Section 3(1) of the UGC Act of 1956, which shall see the light of the day during this year itself. All the academic institutions of the society, be it at the school level or at the collegiate level or at the research level, shall be accredited at a high level by national accreditation agencies. As a culmination and summation of all these efforts of the society shall strive to emerge as one of the most admired academic institutions in the country. We shall certainly not be big in terms of size, but it shall be our effort to be the best amongst the best as far as the delivery of education is concerned and the value that it provides to the student community. As I said at the beginning, if the healthcare industry is on the surge, the pharma industry is no exception. Indian pharmaceutical industry, like the parent industry, is again a sunrise industry, which is not affected by the cyclical fortunes of the economy. The rain and the shine of the economy does not disturb these sectors. And Indian pharmaceutical sector is right now glittering and shining. From a market demand of $65 billion presently, it is expected to surge during the period of 2024 to 2030, a period of 6 years' time, to a minimum of $130 billion. Double during this period, giving a compounded growth rate which will astound everyone across the spectrum. India is among the 3 large drug-producing countries in the world. It is the vaccine capital of the world. It produces 60% of the global requirement of vaccines, and the hallmark of the production is the low cost of the vaccines, thereby making it available to the poorest of poor nations across the globe. In such a deep footprint that the pharma industry is about to take, it's but natural that pharma education should also keep pace. The conventional go-to-market models, the GTM, have been disrupted by newer modes of interface with the ultimate consumer, the demand creator, namely the patient, thanks to the technology trends and the shifting market focus as well. In such a disruptive and growing economy, to remain competitive, to remain profitable, it is necessary to have maximum degree of adaptability and flexibility. The key to survival in such a changing landscape of the pharmaceutical industry is for the companies to constantly evaluate their business models, their product offerings, their channel mix, and above all, invent and create new interface with the ultimate consumer, the patient, who is in need of the products that are being created, manufactured and marketed by the industry. Unfortunately, the growth of the industry has not been complemented by the skill sets that are required to drive this exponential growth of the industry. And that is why there is a wide gap between the talent pool that is available to not just the pharma industry, but also to the healthcare industry, and the capacity requirements of the industry itself, calling for urgent reforms in pharmaceutical education. The pharma industry, as I said, is going through a sea change unbelievable to most of us who have watched this industry for almost 50, 60 years. It is driven by new trends in technology that have completely overtaken the dynamics of the pharma market and even the production of drugs and pharmaceuticals. Artificial intelligence, big data, data analytics, precision medicines, newer links, more effective supply chains which reach the production closest to the patient at the time when it is critical for him to take. For more interestingly, shorter duration of time for clinical trials thanks to the impact of the technology, and more importantly, a positive role that it plays in the drug discovery, delivery, and from the concept to the final marketplace of the product, all are undergoing a change thanks to, and prescriptive medicines are also undergoing a rapid change. Additive manufacturing is the hallmark of pharma manufacturing today. It would be well nigh impossible in an address like this to dwell deep into each one of these factors which have a deep and a positive influence on the pharma market. Suffice if I were to take at least the most dominant one, which seems to ride the pharma industry at this juncture and at least for a decade ahead between 2024 to the 2035, artificial intelligence. The impact factor that artificial intelligence has on the industry, positive, is about 21%. These are the latest estimates that we have, and I have put this across only for your benefit to see how much of changes are taking place in this industry. Artificial intelligence is all-pervading, all-embracing. It touches every aspect of human life. An open, innovative AI would not only facilitate innovation, but also drive AI solutions for most of the human endeavors, like healthcare, education, entertainment, and even beyond. As far as healthcare is concerned, I touched base only just now. As far as healthcare is concerned, the prescriptive medicines and the predictive analytics that artificial intelligence has will enable it to identify the possibility of any incurable diseases that can visit a person during his life journey and detect at the onset of the disease itself, provide a prescriptive medicine pattern that shall nip the disease itself in the bud, elongate life, and provide longevity, at least in relation to escape from the ailment that has been identified. Artificial intelligence is expected to have a growth factor of 28.7% for the pharmaceutical industry between 2024 to 2030. The adverse impact of any of the technologies are already visible, and artificial intelligence is no exception. Artificial intelligence is not a concept of today or yesterday. In 1951, the first signs of artificial intelligence had come. And today we are aware of deep fakes which are coming, making the celebrities shout that they are being imitated 100%. But the downsides aside, the greatest ability of human intelligence is to coexist with a potential competitor and grow beyond him with point of time. And that would be the order of the day, when artificial intelligence can coexist with human intelligence for some time, and human intelligence invariably at all points of time in this planet Earth will be far more superior than any other discoveries, because it is being created by human beings themselves. So the apex, the mother of intelligence, is the human intelligence itself. Pharmacy education has a direct correlation to the healthcare services that are provided across the world, not just in our country. The pharmacy education in this country is regulated by the Pharmacy Council of India, which defines the curriculum. Like any other bureaucratic tangle, PCI has also stagnated pharmacy education over the several decades. Even though it is now on the alert and is upgrading the syllabus to be contemporary, student-friendly, and meeting the needs of time, yet that day is still away before we can have an updated syllabus which will guide the curriculum of all the pharma colleges across the country. But then we at the SIES are slightly fortunate. With the SIES university being on the handle, it will provide the desired flexibility and the autonomy to the SIES university to weave around the curriculum several co-curricular activities that shall fill the void that is created by the curriculum and provide a complete experience, a total experience to the seekers of pharmaceutical knowledge who come to visit this institution for gaining insight into pharmacy. When the university is notified, we shall move away from the conventional B Pharm and D Pharm. The Pharmacy Council of India had approved this institution of ours with an intake of 100 students for B Pharm and 60 students for D Pharm. The approval came at the fag end of last year. That is another sign of bureaucracy. And it took the intervention of the Delhi High Court to push all the approvals to the decision of the colleges that they can shift the approval to the next academic year in the larger interest of the student community. And that is why we never started this institution last year, and today it is seeing the light of the day, more because we will be infrastructurally complete and we would have adequate complementary staff, both teaching and non-teaching, to provide full value to the students who come to the portals of this institution. As soon as the university is notified, there shall be 3 distinct verticals that shall be unique USP to the SIS School of Pharmaceutical Sciences. The first, of course, is B Pharm with LLB. And LLB is not general law. Of course, the foundation will have all the laws, but the laws relating to drugs and pharmaceuticals, the worldwide, the good manufacturing practices, not just of WHO over here, but worldwide standards of GMP, the influence of these on the registration of drugs, marketing of the drugs across the world, starting from US FDA down to Australia, UK, to closer home to Middle East, and all economies which have a consumption for the drugs that are being produced in our country. International intellectual property laws will also be the forte of the legal education. And more importantly, closer home, they shall have their innings with the Indian Patents Act, the Indian Trade and Merchandise Act, the Indian Trademarks Act, the Weights and Measures Act, the Magic Remedies Act, and the newer guidelines that have been issued every morning by the Ministry of Drugs and Pharmaceuticals, the first of which came recently, of the relationship between the prescribing doctor and the pharmaceutical company, as what are the ethical standards of the giveaways from the company to the doctor. And I didn't remember today also, one notification has hit the headlines. So it shall be a comprehensive understanding of the legal framework, which is very critical because this is a niche area. There are very few lawyers who are conversant with the global standards of pharmaceuticals, and this twinning dual education program of BPharm and LLB shall fit that gap. The second one shall be BPharm with management. Certainly not the general management, even though the foundation will carry general management, it shall be pharma management with focus on direct marketing, ultimately reaching the consumer patient through the intermediary who is the doctor, and medico-marketing, which is the language of understanding, with the doctor at the first instant who creates the demand for the patient whom we don't see in the normal course. In the third segment, it shall be B-Pharm with technology management, focus on additive manufacturing, particularly in relation to the pharma industry, the new developments that have been taking place in the large-scale manufacturing of drugs and pharmaceuticals in the country, the scaling up that is being taking place in India to feed the world, all these things will be integrated into that dual education program. Of course, there shall be several certificate programs which shall come, which shall fill the gap between the main curriculum and the co-curricular activities that have been discussed just now. The SIES School of Pharmaceutical Sciences that sees the light of the day today has a few firsts, the like of which did not exist for any of the institutions of SIES right from 1932. It is probably the first institution which has a share, a small share of the total capital cost being brought in by CSR and alumni donation. We are beholden to Mr. Mehul M. Shah, the Managing Director and CEO of N-Cube Ethicals Private Limited, an alumnus of the SIES College of Arts, Science and Commerce Autonomous, who after his intermediate came to the Bombay College of Pharmacy for his basic degree in pharmacy and then gave aspirations to his instinctive interest to be an employment creator and not an employment seeker, and set up the N-Cube Ethicals Private Limited. This Guru Dakshina, or giving back to the alma mater, as far as SIS is concerned, at the scale and the level which it is being done, is only for the SIS School of Pharmaceutical Sciences. We are beholden to him for having given a substantial contribution of 7.5 crores, which shall fund the SI, the Pharma Museum, the Formulation Development Laboratory, and of course the high-tech instruments which are going to be part of the various laboratories which have already seen partially the light of the day. The infrastructure that has been created is not just for the first year, it is for the full 4 years. In advance, 3 years in advance it has been created, but added to this are several new things like the Formulation Laboratory, the Pharma Museum, which will also see the light of the day. During the course of this year, they may not be relevant to the students to begin with, but they shall kindle their interest for deeper study of pharmaceuticals. His giving back to the alma mater is not just limited to SIES, to the Bombay College of Pharmacy, to which he belonged for pharmaceutical education. He has now funded the Formulation Development Laboratory in the Bombay College of Pharmacy, which will see the light of the day in a few months from now, and therefore we get the benefit. Kundrani College, the Kundrani College of Pharmacy, not the Bombay, the Kundrani College of Pharmacy, it will give the benefit for us to see the emerging Formulation Development Laboratory, and I'm sure there is no need for correction to that, but it will make it easy for us to see the light of the day. Much more than his presence, he is his father, Mr. Madhubai Shah, who at this advancing age has come not to see his son having contributed to this institution, but to bless this institution, this nascent institution which has been given birth today, and his blessings will endure for the growth and development of this institution in the years to come. Thank you, Madhubai, for your presence today. We are beholden to Padma Vibhushan, Dr. Manmohan Sharma, for his gracious presence this morning, for inaugurating the SIES School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, for presiding over this inaugural function, and also the words of wisdom that shall flow from him when his turn comes, not only to enlighten all of us, but to open up our minds to the new vistas, the new horizons in pharmaceuticals that will dominate world order in the years to come. He is a walking university. He is an epitome. He might be the father of chemical technology, chemical engineering, the wonders of chemistry, allied sciences like pharmaceuticals also. I think Mehul got a glimpse of it when we went along with him for the inauguration as to how much this small head carries. I wonder what Oliver Goldsmith, who sang for the village schoolmaster, would have sung if he had seen Professor Sharma. We would have got an entirely new Oliver Goldsmith before us. We are deeply beholden to him. He is an honorary patron of the society, along with Padma Vibhushan Dr. K. Kasuri Rangan, the architect of the National Education Policy 2020, and Padma Vibhushan Dr. R. Chidambaram, the architect of the Pokhran nuclear explosion, the World Authority on Crystallography, the former principal scientific advisor to the government of India. I am sure he will remit his role not just to the inauguration of this building and blessing this institution. His parental influence will always be there to guide this institution in its infancy so that it comes of age and becomes an adult soon, and we are able to realize our avowed objective of this institution becoming a preferred destination of choice for seekers of pharmacy education within a short period of 3 years. Thank you, sir, for your presence this morning, which itself is enriching. We are at a crucial phase in the long history of this wonderful institution of ours. Our campus is good for a long haul. It is good for all seasons, good for all those who want to contribute to the development of this nation. As long as we do not lose sight of these basic principles, we can lay claim to a future as brilliant and exciting as our past. We are growing. We have made our legs strong. We have set our sights on distant shores. Our wings are sinew. We are climbing. We shall climb the summit. Even then, we would like to climb still further. We will never be satisfied. An attitude of never being satisfied is the only guarantee that will ensure maximum value for the student community, which takes the prime of its youth, the early youth in the colleges, which are the nurseries of their growth, and this man-making character formation, assimilation that the institutions are expected to do. I think we should be blessed to do that, that these children become the future citizens of this country, into whose hands the destiny of this nation, the architect of this nation itself lies, and they shall take this nation to its rightful place amongst the Committee of Nations, the most powerful nation, not just the economic powerhouse of the nation, the Vishwa Guru, by 2047, when India would be celebrating the centenary of its independence. We invite you all to join us in this momentous journey, which in just about 8 years' time will see its centenary, far better than the centuries you see in the cricket fields. We pray that today one of the Indians also gives a century in the cricket field and brings that cup into this country. Long waited for that. Much more than that, if this century of ours should become a century of bliss, then we have to redouble our efforts. Shirk the inertia that momentarily envelops us, gird up our loins, and surge ourselves forward with determination and devotion. And then, as David Henry Thoreau, that great philosopher, said, you shall meet with unexpected success in unearthly hours. Come join us in this noble task of enriching, elevating, and inspiring humankind through a process called as education. Thank you and God bless.